subscribe, which hasn't been useful yet, but it'll pop up on the side here. Um, all right, so this is kind of out of order, but so I recorded with Pez yesterday, and I have you on today. But I'm gonna put this episode out before that one, so the timeline on online will just be weird. But you're gonna be episode 22, and then Pez will be 23. The
Yeah, whatever you want, man.
first hard hitting question. First hard hitting question. When are we gonna get another online October Halloween charity event on from you? When are we getting that?
Oh man, damn.
It's been 3 years. It's been 100 years.
It has, huh? I went into a funk, kind of a personal funk, just myself. Like I just didn't like playing online anymore.
Okay,
There was that brief kind of I'm not gonna name anybody, but I mean there were a lot of things going around the old school discords, and people were accusing people of cheating and stuff like that, and there were a lot of videos and stuff like that. So for me, I felt a little disenchanted doing online tournament. But you're right. It's not about that. It's about the charity. So I will definitely the streamer group that I belong with. We've actually been doing American Cancer Society fundraising right now.
Yeah,
because we do it every year as a group. So we actually did our Magic the Gathering event. It was actually in person in a little shop in Florida.
Nice.
But it wasn't old school. It was I think they were doing Commander this year. But
okay.
To answer your question, definitely soon, because that was definitely a fun one.
Yeah, send me a link. I'll throw some money at that. I'm always down for donation.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
I should have asked you about that before. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say real quick. I heard Shaman Ben is collecting those old rats.
I sent him mine just recently because he's like putting together some fucking community. I don't know, dude. It'll be cool whatever it is, but it'll probably be out there too. But
Sure.
he got mine. I had to go through my like binder. So like I keep my cards separated kind of weird. Like anything behind me, I have like two boxes back there. That stuff generally is like up for grabs. Like I would absolutely like if I had to or somebody really wanted it, I would sell out of those boxes. But I also have like a binder, and this is like the I'm not selling this shit unless I'm gonna go homeless binder. And that and that and actually there's probably some stuff I should sell out of here. But that was in like the back pages is all like the altered stuff that I've either won through Ante or from your charity event. So he was like asking for it. I was like, fuck, I bet you I still have mine. And sure as shit, it was in here, and I was like, all right, it's probably gonna see more play back there than it will sitting in my binder of no return.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to go through a little box of stuff too. I know I probably still have some extras. I mean, I'll, don't tell them, but I'll probably send them a few as well as soon as I find them.
Yeah, he won't listen to this. We'll be fine. He has no fucking idea. He probably doesn't even listen to podcasts. Like
you always beat yourself down, man. It's like, oh, nobody listens to this, dude. Everybody listen to this, man.
I know. Like I was talking because Pez asked the same question, and I like for people who ever want to do a podcast, I really like using Anchor. I was using like SoundCloud or something like that, but we have my audience size last 7 days 31 people. Average plays per episode 116. Let's see. But I'll do after we get done talking, I will share my screen and show you all this stuff. But like Anchor gives you a lot of like the demographics and stuff about who's listening, age, sex, country, all that stuff. It gives you a bunch of that. And like so I can usually outside of the USA, I can tell you who's listening to this podcast in like Germany or Sweden or whatever, because there's only so many characters that would do so. So it's pretty interesting. Like it gives you some pretty decent data.
Yeah, no, that's always good. It's like it's one thing if you create content, but it feels a hell of a lot better when you see, oh, people are actually listening to my content, right, or looking at it.
Yeah.
So.
And there are certain dudes who will like message me and be like, "Oh, hey, that was a cool episode," or like they'll be like, "The audio was fucked up on this one." I was like, "I know the audio was bad. It's my fault. I'm buying Mark a microphone for Christmas this year, so that he can stop using like Bluetooth Apple headset. I don't know. I don't know what he uses. It's not good. Whatever it is, I'm gonna buy him something nice. The okay, we wanted to talk about shops today, right? We can talk about other stuff. We want to talk
I'll
about
talk about
shops
anything
today,
you
right?
want, brother.
Dude, let's talk. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. It is your shops list from Chalice, and
Oh, okay.
I just like talk me through shops. Like, what do you think the core is? Where do you think the flex slots are? And then I want to talk transformational sideboards with you because I know we had talked about that. Um, because like I don't think that's like a thing that's used very often in old school. I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but like it certainly is fun. So that's like one of the things because we had talked about it offline in the real world. So now let me see if I can share this thing without
Yeah,
breaking my
man.
computer.
I'll talk about anything today, brother. It's
Yes.
Veterans Day. I'm rocking my shirt.
USA all the way.
Yeah, for our vets, man. So sorry
Oh
if
my
I
god.
dated the podcast, but it's it's Veterans Day. I gotta say it.
It is November 11th, Veterans Day. We can have
Yeah,
that
yeah.
conversation offline.
Sure.
The okay, I think you can see my screen. It doesn't really matter. It's your list anyhow. It does, like
I'm
it's
kind of
just for me,
going
right?
off memory. No, so remember I told you at the beginning of this podcast, as human beings, we like to look at ourselves. So I actually had to shrink the Microsoft Teams browser thing, and I put our videos up. I put my video up underneath my webcam, so I can looks like I'm staring at my webcam. Because if I move the videos down to the lower right corner, I'm going to be like this, which is what people tend to do.
I just moved you right underneath my camera. Not that it matters, because I feel like my camera isn't like sensitive, and I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay, so obviously workshops is the main part of this deck. I see that you play 3. I think a lot of people play 4. Is like, do you think that it's mandatory to play? Like, do you think it's okay to play 3 over 4? I mean, I know you did well at the tournament.
3 on that list. I forgot.
You played 3, dude. Yeah.
Well, now I got to bring it up. Hang on a second. I can bring it up myself, but oh, I see it.
It's really just for the YouTube people who watch.
I also, if you notice, if you count it, I think I ran 62 or 63 cards. Too.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't know.
Like, you can do whatever you want. What blows me up about this deck is like you're playing shops, right? But it's also 1, 2, 3 color shops because there's no green, no red, right? Yeah. Okay. It blows my mind that you can do that stuff.
I mean, I know we're going to segue into transformational sideboards, but I've been on this kick where it's like I like to play certain decks. So this particular list actually is like I took the deck and shops and made a kit out of it, and I just wanted to play it. The white removal. I've rarely played counter magic, so I was like, you know what? I've had these alpha counter spells in my collection forever, and I'm like, I just want to play them.
I found them on the ground while I was walking to my office.
I never play. Yeah, well, I mean, I probably shuffled one of them on the cement, but I learned this from Aaron West, where it's like, don't worry about, just play what you want to play. Yes. And I've been on this kick where it's like, okay, I want to play like workshops and I want to play the deck and I want to throw them together. So it's like effectively I have a bad workshop deck or I have a bad version of the deck, but I said, screw it. I just want to play these cards in particular at this tournament because I never really do. It's not a full-blown shops deck. It's not a full-blown version of the deck. It's just something thrown together, combined the two. But honestly, the 3 workshops, I could have probably, if this is 62 cards, which I think it is, you could probably just cut 1 workshop and I think I'd be fine. But normally in a full-blown shops deck, yes, I would run 4 workshops because you'd have a lot more artifacts. But my thinking with having workshop in this version is like you have the 1 land that can produce 3 mana to get like Tome Out, Suchi, Icy Manipulator, and Trike. And the thing is, you can always still have double blue up. It's really easy. Once that thing drops, it's kind of like it puts you ahead 1 or 2 turns, maybe.
Okay.
Depending on your hand. But it was really nice because, again, I can cast a 4-drop and still have double blue up, no problem. And it felt really good in certain situations during the tournament. So I think 4 is too much because it's not a full-blown shops deck. 3 might be too much. Now that I'm looking at it now. But it was pretty handy. And then the extra land, I can always pitch it to. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I run 2 recalls, so I can always pitch the extra land to go get something else out of my graveyard. You know what I'm saying? So that was my logic behind the 2.
I would play 3 as well, only because this was a 4-strip tournament, and I'd be worried if I played 2 that I would be soft to strips. But I don't know. I don't even know if that's correct to strip a workshop in this matchup or not. Like, I think maybe it's like strip to keep you off colored sources, like to keep you off double blue or whatever. But I mean, your deck is fairly redundant because you got the underground seas and the tundras and a basic island. So I mean, and a sapphire. So you have like, what is that, 10? That's 10 blue sources. That's easy money. Plus 2 city brass with 12. Yeah. And a Felwar Stone, so even more because everybody else is playing blue too. Yeah, dude, I don't know. That's like, so here's another question. If I'm playing against workshops, how do I beat workshops?
It's exactly what you just said a few moments ago. Strip the colored mana. Unless they're putting a lot of pressure on you and they have a grip of 4 drops and 6 drops, you rarely should hit the workshop. Okay. It's kind of like bait. And I know a lot of people, especially ones who don't play against shops a lot. I'll strip the workshop, but it's really the colored sources. Because a full-blown shops deck, it's actually starving for colored sources. Because you need to get
okay.
Yeah, you'll notice I don't have copy artifact in this deck. Because I mean, usually full-blown shops got copy artifact.
Right.
It's got all the blue stuff. Depending on the version, it's either got red cards or white cards or both, or a splash of 4 colors. It usually is thirsty for black, because it usually just it splashes Abyss and DT and Mind Twist, but it runs skinny on the black sources. So I would definitely attack the colored sources over the workshop if you notice they're not putting a lot of pressure on you, especially with Icy Manipulator, because we need non-workshop mana to activate the Icy Manipulator, and if you just take all that away and you leave me with 2 workshops, that's fine. You just have to deal with the 6 drop when I draw it. But at the same note, you turned off my Ices and you've turned off all my colored spells. So that's when I play Shops Mirror or I play against somebody with shops, number 1 priority is get rid of the colored stuff.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. That's kind of what I thought and how I would have played it. I just played, the only person I think the only person I played on shops was Mike. I might have played somebody else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So we've talked I'll just use you and Nick as a like team duo, the 2 of you, because every time I see you or Nick, the other one is there. Like Nick keeps the same list more or less, right? Like he might change out like a card or 2, but he's been playing like the same 73 out of 75 for a hot minute. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes. So I think Mano said it best on his podcast. There's like West Coast shops, which is like the white, the Esper version, I guess, the white, black, blue version. There's the Will McGran version, or the more popular now in Sweden, the BB-8 version with the red splash. Mm-hmm. For either direct damage or blasts or or something like that. To deal with efflux. But for the most part, I think Nick ran pretty much the same. He'll tweak the sideboard, I think, a little bit for a little bit of spice or a little bit, depending on what the meta is. If you feel like the meta is more aggro weenies, Argothian pixies and stuff like that, then you need something to take care of that other than Abyss.
Right.
But for the most part, I think it's white removal, it's 4 copies, blue power. It's going to be 8 to 10 robots. So like 2 Tetravis or something like that, 4 Ices, relic barriers and stuff like that. So that's the main list. So it's kind of like an aggro, control-y, kind of prison-y, build.
Yeah. And well, what I was getting towards is like you change your deck like all the time. Like this is not the same thing as what you played at the Desert Twister event a year ago. Like not even close, right? Because you mashed up the deck and workshops, and then you went and you went to M30, right? The one in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you play that tournament as well?
No, you know what? I mean, I don't, I don't know if you want to talk about it on here, but there were just
Sure.
some logistical nightmares. And
I don't
I just,
I wasn't there, and I mean all I know is what was said online by people who have an axe to grind either way. So I obviously would probably value your opinion over theirs.
oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you want, I'll touch
yeah.
on it
I'm
like
interested because
briefly.
there's
Yeah.
another one end of this upcoming year that Brian was talking about doing an actual get together with. So I'm interested in that because I think my wife also has like
There's
they
one,
just announced there's another Vegas next year.
oh,
Um,
January. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so I think my wife has a conference out there at the same time. So I'm
Sweet.
highly likely to be out there. Um, so yeah, I'm interested to hear about what you thought about Vegas this time, so that can kind of set me up for hopefully success coming out to
Yeah,
see you
for
guys.
sure. So I did have another version of Shops that I wanted to run.
Sure.
It was a red version. It was actually an ATOG version, but it ran Sorry the Ages. I wanted to try that out. And you just make ATOG really big, and then you sort them for like 16 or 18 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But the day of one of the events, so it was a Friday event. The Sin City Fallen Angels, who's a crew out there, James Portello, Brian Vegso, they organized an event at Nevada Brew Works. They invited, it's like the little offsite old school meetup. So, which was actually tons of fun. They had Anson Maddox there and Brenda
Yeah.
as guest stars. They were just sitting there drinking beers and talking to people. It was the greatest thing. I think people asked for signatures. They had a black pen. That's all they had.
Nice.
And
Yes. Perfect.
he,
Yeah.
yeah, he hooked you up with a signature if you went to go say hi to him, had a beer with him, whatever. But they were there. Brenda and Anson were there. God, man, probably 3-4 hours or something, just sitting there enjoying the community, which is what it's all about. Going to prepare for the tournament. So the M30 Friday night was on site at the World Center Expo Convention Center thing, right? Which is, it's probably like a 10-minute drive from the old school meetup. But from what we were hearing, people that were on the on-site event that really wanted to play, they were saying that it started late. The staff at M30 was not very tentative to the people that signed up. They were more organized with the other, side events.
Sure.
And the old school event, I heard, didn't start until like maybe an hour and a half. So this is like 10:30 at night already. And Nick and myself, we were at Nevada Brew Works since 6 o'clock. And the thing is we were looking at each other like, because we wanted to play. We just, let's go play. We paid for the tickets. It was like $40 to play and we ended up not playing because we were hearing from other people that were on site that it still hasn't started. It's 10 o'clock. You need to come here, do a deck list. You need to do all this stuff and check in. And by the time, I think it started at 10:30 or maybe a little after 10:30. And it's 3 rounds. Like people were there till like midnight or something. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
I'd rather just stay at Nevada Brew Works and play. So unfortunately it happened both nights is what I heard. Super disorganized. People still played though. Like there's actually, they had a handful of people, but they could have had more. I feel like if it was organized better, because the people that were there were calling the people at Nevada Brew Works saying, don't even bother coming. It hasn't even started. You don't want to be here until 1 a.m. The kicker of the whole thing was the hall, which is where all the vendors were.
Mm-hmm.
The hall closed at 7 o'clock. And I heard that they kicked people out at 7 o'clock. So which means if you didn't have a place to go and you were waiting for the old school tournament to start at 9, you had to go kill 2 hours of time. And you're not in the best area, I guess, of Vegas to walk around with a backpack full of cards.
Sure.
You're basically in the middle of like the Stratosphere, which is the end of the strip, and then you're at the beginning of Old Town Vegas,
like
right?
Actual Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, so you're nowhere near the strip. It's kind of a rough part from the expo to the Stratosphere if you want to get back onto the Vegas Strip. Mm-hmm. And then you can walk to Fremont Street, which is old school Vegas. But it was quite a walk. So again, if you Ubered or you didn't really have anybody to hang out with, it kind of sucked. So long story short, I ended up not playing in either of the events. I signed up for them. I paid for them. And we hung out at Nevada Brew Works for both nights, and we just had the casual meetups and drank beer and had fun.
Dude,
That's
I would have been out at Deckless. I would have been out at Deckless. I'd been like, nah, it's okay. I'd be like, keep my money. I'm not doing it. I'm like, I'll send you a picture. You guys figure it out. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I was just like, I'm gonna make an attempt to come out for January of next year. I think January, February, whatever it is. And probably it'll honestly just be to see you guys and then maybe take a look at the vendors.
nice.
Was there anything good in the vendor spot? Like, did people have any good deals on like actual old school stuff?
Yeah, there was. I mean, dude, I'll like all the big boys were there. So I mean, Star City was there. Card Kingdom was there. Like, I mean, all the big vendors, all the little local small ones. The local shop in Vegas, which is like Dark Side Games. So I mean, all that. Anybody you can think of. TOA was there. Tier 1 Games, Laughing Dragon guys. It was all there. I think. I just want to briefly mention, you mentioned you're getting back into 40, or you want to play 40K anti-format.
That's phase 2. That's phase
so
2.
I mean, I ran into the Beast of the Bay. I ran into like Jeff and Mike and Jeremy, Joe Mar, those guys.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, we were going, oh, we want to build up 40K or whatever. And a lot of these vendors had damaged cases, which was the highlight for me. So I mean, you could get, I got a couple beta hippies for like $300 for the pair. They were marked damaged. They're old school near mint in my condition. In my opinion,
are they just inked on around the edges? Because if it's
they're not even
ink,
they're just like warped, right? Like they're not crazy. Yeah, it's perfect 40K seed food. Saw unlimited duels for the price of revise in the damage case. It was pretty good. I scooped up a couple of like unlimited scrublands for a buddy of mine from Kentucky who was down there. Oso. I think you've met him before, but
yeah, name sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he's completing his 40 duels unlimited duel set, and they had some, I don't know, they had like unlimited scrubs. I mean, to me, they were great condition. They were like $400, I think, and we're just like, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, right? Like so that's what I looked for, was the damage cases, the HP cases. Star City Games, they took a lot of their HP inventory, brought it in. I think Pepin picked up I don't know, Old Man of the Sea for like $150. I picked up a beta IC for like $120, I think. Like there were definitely deals to be had. Mainly the damage stuff, but there was all sorts of stuff, man. You're looking for graded stuff, it's all there. Latanzi had his booth there with like all the crazy graded, high graded alpha cards, alpha power and all that stuff. So I mean, it was great. I mean, it was super packed. I'll tell you that. I mean, the first day I they said they sold out. There's like 10,000 people. You couldn't move. That's the bad. Like it was pretty bad the first day, Friday, and it got to the point where I was just like, I need to get out of here. I can't breathe. It was so bad. So, but everybody was excited. The vendors were all stocked up, and it was fun.
They were at the Expo Center, right? Did they have one of the bigger offside rooms? Was that the deal?
They had the main hall in the Expo Center.
Okay.
Yeah, this is that new one. So this is the Expo Center's by the outlets. So
I haven't been there yet then.
Yeah, there's the premium outlets, and then there's the Expo Center, and it's by that weird building that looks like it's melting in Vegas.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen that thing. Yeah, I think they had it on The Simpsons, like it was on a Simpsons episode or something. But it's the building that looks like it's melting. It's like a metal building or something. But yeah.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I haven't been to the new Expo Center then. The plan is get together a Swedish deck for 2023 and use that to. I would like to go to Europe to play some tournaments, right? Not win, but play. So I have DFB's has sent me a list, and I'm buying those cards as we speak.
Sweet.
And then when I get done with that venture, that's when I'm probably gonna start building any 40K sooner than that, but like get that deck built, start buying 40K stuff. And a lot of it's like gonna roll over, right? Like I need to buy an unlimited Chaos Orb. Prices are coming down on that, which is nice. And then I need to buy a Loa, which is probably the two big pieces I don't have.
Mhm.
And between that and then just have like the unlimited stuff I would buy, that'll probably get me to the 40K mark. So that's the plan. I do need to talk to people about like what colors I should be playing. Like I want to do like black, white, splash red or something like that. I don't know. It feels like either that or just like red, white, wheat. I don't know. I'm not sure what a good deck is. So I'm kind of just tempted to play like something aggressive like pink weenie, maybe splash black. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you
White
gotta go.
weenie looks good. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at what people were playing at Chalice. And then like Danny Friedman lives out this way, so he's got his anti 40K decks and he's shown them to me, but he was like, I'm probably giving away a little bit of this here, but he was playing like a land tax deck, but it wasn't
Mhm.
like normal land tax. So there's no way I could build that and play it. Like it would just I would never win. I would be losing quite a lot of birds or whatever else is in the deck. So
Yeah.
I got to consider my options here.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, do you have
I'm
any
sorry. We
40K?
we 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 kind of we kind of went off tangent from shops, but yeah.
I know. We can go back to shops. We can go back to shops.
I'll talk about anything, brother. I'm good,
I know, but do you have a 40K deck built? I didn't see you playing it all.
No,
That's
no.
what I was asking. Okay.
I had one built, and then I was gonna play like they were doing some online stuff, and then
Okay.
again, I just didn't like playing online anymore, so I wanted to wait. But I can definitely build one. You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I want to throw beta duels in it, but I can get there
No,
obviously.
no.
But I have I have like extra
No.
beta duels. I'm like, yeah, dude, let's play. But no, I definitely want to play. You know, Chalice was just that was for me, that was the highlight simply because of the community that was playing. It was fun
Absolutely.
watching them. And you see the deck constructions, they feel like what you probably played back in 93, 94, simply because, well, I don't want to lose this card. So I'll just put something crappy in it and then we
Yes.
can play for ante, right? So I like that aspect. It felt like, I don't know, if you got skin in the game, it's a different story. So you play a little bit different and you build your deck a little bit different, it's because in fear of losing something. So it's but it's fun. I like anything where you got to have skin in the game is always fun.
Yeah, I agree. I like playing anti, and now like the natural progression has just been like, okay, let's put the money on a anti 40K deck and bring it. It'd be interesting to see like if somebody were to put together like an actual like anti 40K tournament, for lack of a better term, if people would show up to that or not. But okay, back to shops. What because I mean, I really just need to have people who play anti 40K and put them all on here and just let them talk about it. But the what list did you build for M30 that you just didn't go play at? Like, did you build something different? Was it just a straight chops list?
No, so it's I rarely play red in a shops list.
Okay,
I just
it's
never
just there
done
for
it. So,
the efflux, right? Like, you just want the blast for the efflux.
well, so I wanted to play. I definitely want to play ATOG. I haven't played ATOG in a while. I wanted to play ATOG, and then I wanted to play. I wanted to play Story of the Ages. It's I'm not sure if you know Mike Butson, but I gotta give him credit because he was actually the to me locally here in the U.S. He's like the shops master in my opinion because
Okay.
I saw the decks he was building back in the day, like like 2017, like Eternal Weekend and stuff like that, and he was always on shops and um, during Chalice One, I wanted to give him a gift, so I actually had Ken Meyer, because Ken Meyer was the artist at Chalice One, and I had two Story of the Ages, and and Butson, if you know him or not, really nice guy out of Wisconsin, fellow deep spawner, but he had these photos going around our SoCal Discord of him super young, super long hair, skinny dude.
I've seen that picture. I've seen that
Playing
picture.
D&D. Oh, you've seen it. Okay.
I've seen that picture.
So I got him two altars, is Story of the Ages, right? So I got like a young Butson and an old Butson, like
Nice.
altar
Yeah.
on him. And it's hilarious when you
I have stickers from an event. It's called Butson Palooza, and there was like maybe 3 people there, but I have stickers from it.
sweet.
Yeah.
So
I don't know him personally. I just know everybody surrounding him. Like
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
a very close circle.
So
It's in here somewhere.
I wanted to play Story of the Ages, simply, for to honor him, and I just don't see it much played in a shops list with you know you can go either way, right? You either sack your fatties, right? You sack your Suchis and trikes and whatever and sword somebody, or you sack all of your artifacts to your ATOG, make the ATOG super big, and then you sort them, right? It's either way. I wanted to try it. So I had that build. I was playing it on the offsite event. I mean, it was really super fun. A little bit different. Using copy artifact on the Sword of the Ages is hilarious because your opponent just sits there going, "What the hell is he doing?" And the ability to win off of ATOG that has summoning sickness. Second main, cast the ATOG, sack 20 artifacts to it, sword you for 40. It's
just good. Like it's the original fling. I literally just bought an English copy for my cube because I had an Italian copy.
Yeah,
I think it's a good card. The 6 casting cost is what keeps it out of decks that I play, but in shops that's like nothing.
Yeah, I think all I did was I dropped Tetravis for it, and I actually don't regret it. It saved me a couple of times with Su-Chi because if they disenchant Su-Chi, you're eating 4 if you don't have a mana dump.
Right.
But Sword of the Ages is kind of like a Swords of Plowshare. You remove the creatures from the game, and then you sword your opponent or your target or whatever. So I actually saved myself a couple of times, sacking my Su-Chis to Sword of the Ages, and then I didn't have to eat the mana burn because it's removed from the game. So
I did not know that. I thought, yeah, okay, all right. That's good to know. That's a nice.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It was just in that moment of that game, I was at low life. I would have burned for 8, and I said, "Wait a minute, I can do this." And my opponent said, "Oh yeah." I mean, nobody read. I mean, Sword of the Ages is like what, 2 paragraphs and shit. Yeah. So, I just read the first paragraph. Okay, sack it, throw your dudes at it, and throw it at your opponent or whatever. But yeah, that was the build I had. It was I cut white. Wanted to try something new, like what you said at the beginning. Like all my shop decks are like, I try to keep them different.
Yeah.
I just want to play different shit all the time. So, but yeah, I would love to play it on the onsite, but again, it didn't happen. So I had fun with it offsite.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like in fairness to Wizards, I'm sure that they will fix that for future events, but maybe they won't. Who knows? Okay, let's talk about the more spicy side here. Transformational sideboards. And the reason I bring this up is I currently have a black-white deck. 60 cards is basically set. I'm set at like 58 out of 60 cards. Do I put a transformational sideboard in this bad boy? And then, so let's talk through transformational sideboards. Like, how do you build them? And then what do you normally look for when you build a transformational sideboard? Or just give me your thoughts on it, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it simply is what it is, right? You catch your opponent off guard, either game 1 or game 2. You try to hide it in game 1 if that's your like a lot of the there were some shops lists where it's like they ran tundras, like they actually ran white cards, but all the white cards were in the sideboard. Okay. Is that considered transformational? I don't know. I don't know if that's transformational enough, but it is something where, game 1, I don't see any white cards. Maybe you palm your tundras, but you definitely run tundras in there. And then depending on the situation, you change up the deck, right? The more extreme version is you actually have one deck for game 1 and it transforms into another deck game 2, right? Like that's the extreme. That's to totally catch your opponent off guard. Because usually game 2, it's like they bring in all the counter, they bring in all the removal, right. The blood moons and all that stuff. Well, what if your deck transformed into a red deck, right? After, and that's what, I got to give the Dutch guys over. So the big shops deck in Sweden right now is the BB-8 deck.
Okay.
So it's 8 robots, 8 burn spells. But I saw one deck list where the sideboard completely is mono red. So it basically starts as like a 2 to 3 color deck, and then you sideboard 3 blood moons and a bunch of red cards, and it basically becomes big red at that point because your opponent's going to be like, oh well, I'm going to bring in blasts, I'm going to bring in, I'm going to bring in my blood moon, and it's like, sure,
Yeah.
Well, my workshop deck is big red game 2, right? Like
you're like, thank you for helping me. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool, man. I mean, I love, Dave hit it on one of your podcasts a couple podcasts ago where he's all into that. When I play Dave in Arizona, he had some kind of Arabian aggro power monolith deck, right? Like something like that. And it's cute.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
And Pete Dentith, I think he won the Spice Award. I think he won the Spice Award at Chalice, but that dude for the longest time always ran Power Monolith that transformed into his was actually the reverse. So it's Power Monolith game 1, and then it transforms into Arabian Aggro game 2, which is kind of cool, right?
There's like rollover there. Like there's enough cards are the same, so you can do the 15 card switch.
Yeah.
What do you do for game 3 though? Do you keep it in or you go back? That's the real question.
I don't know. Maybe well, the plan is right.
Not a game 3. Yeah.
You win game 1 with one deck, then you win game 2 with the other deck, right? That's the dream, right? But I don't know. I've seen people take the entire sideboard, shuffle it into their deck, and pull out 15 cards. That's how you do it. You keep your opponent guessing, you know.
Whenever I thought I was going to be like a competitive Magic player, however you define that, that's what I used to do, was like shuffle 15 in and pull 15 out. But I'm like that fucking idiot who would forget what he wanted to pull out. I'd be like, fuck. So I stopped doing that a long time ago. But like now I just like lay it out in front of me on the table. I'm like, all right, I'm bringing in these 3 red elemental blasts. You can see them.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so you know, going back to, you know, let's go back to my list kind of at Chalice a little bit, but it's like I was at the point too where I was like, maybe I do the deck, you know, my game 1 deck is a version of the deck with workshops in it, and then my sideboard is entire robots, right? Like, and you see that sometimes even the current deck players, they'll put all their Sarahs and creatures in the sideboard, right? Is that transformational? I mean, it could be. It kind of sideboards into blue-white flyers at that point, right? If you do it, you know, that's the most simplest way I think I can explain it. Where you see versions of the deck with a bunch of Sarahs in the sideboard, right? And I go, okay, that's cool. You know, I've seen mono black, like kind of what you said, right? Like, so like black white. Maybe it's some kind of Dead Ale guy game 1, and then it turns into, I don't know, maybe it turns into something else completely different. You know, some kind of a workshop deck or an artifact abyss protection from black deck. I don't know, you know, but that's what kind of comes to mind when you run black white.
Damn it. Yeah.
Now I have to. I don't know, like you know, that's what kind of comes into mind is like. I've seen those decks, right? The black white protection from black runs 4 abyss, right? And has fun with that, right?
Damn it, Brian. Hold on.
So
I'm writing this down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now you solved the problem. I was like, do I like make a real sideboard? It's here's the deal. Like, so I'm fine with like the 60 cards. This is completely off topic. I've got like the 60 cards figured out. I was literally just going to play 3 of each copy or Circle of Protection as a sideboard because I didn't want to fucking deal with the sideboard. But now I'm just going to put like Pestilence and stuff on the sideboard. It'll be fine. I'll make it transformational. Okay, back to this.
Pestilence, then you need all the pro white guys, right? Like, I mean, I'm sorry. No, pro black. I'm sorry. Pro black
guys. But I got
that's fine.
I got to make sure I have enough room for like the switch the mana base up. But
so it's kind of like Sean Sullivan ran a deck like that at Chalice, right? They talked about it on Mano's podcast.
I'll have to message him and see if he can send me his list. Yeah.
He ran like Pestilence and Pro Black and maybe Abyss, and he ran Ashnod's Transmigrant, turning all your dudes into artifact creatures. That's always cute, you know.
That's like fuck. Yeah, I just gotta make sure I have enough room.
We'll that's the problem, right? But I don't know. I like the black white shell. It's really good. I mean, you got all the black 8 cards, you got all the white removal, and it's
you really just want the white removal.
Well, I mean, him to Turok is good too, right? So
yeah.
Depending on the format.
I have a question about the deck that you brought to Chalice. You have a Tormod's Crypt on the side. Is that just for what do you bring that? Is that like the deck mirror thing where you want to cut them off their recalls? Because you don't see a lot of people play
any deck that time twisters, any deck that dude, I mean, game 1, I actually went to game 3. Not that I'm surprised or not, but Shops actually has a really hard time against Reanimator.
Fair. I've never seen anybody play Reanimator because like
it is a horrible matchup for Shops. I'm not gonna lie.
I believe you.
The Tormod's Crypt definitely helps against Reanimator. There were times I almost Tormod's Crypt my own graveyard because I was ahead, but my opponent was removing my, sending my dudes to the graveyard, and then he was reanimating himself. And I'm like, damn, like, so it's like, it's a surprising matchup for shops when you face somebody on Reanimator and they're very good at it. Brian Bogdan from Canada, Joseph from Arizona were playing Reanimator decks at Chalice.
Okay.
And you had to watch out for those decks because you want to talk about explosiveness. I mean, that's about as explosive as you can get if you can get like 4 to 5 fatties on like game, or on like turn 3 or turn 4 or something like that. Like that's a problem,
Were they playing Bazaar? Just like Bazaar and just Bazaar?
Yeah, they're playing Bazaars, they're playing All Hallows Eves and stuff.
Gotcha.
Joseph, I think, was on a version of Reanimator Shops kind of deal because he ran copy artifacts too. And I go, damn, like, your opponent's own copy artifacts are like Shop's worst enemy because they can just copy all your stuff and then they're ahead,
Right.
So it's but yeah, the Tormod's Crypt helped me against Deck Mirror, even like Atog, like it helped against if they bolt me to death and Time Twister themselves, then the Tormod's Crypt helped me with that too.
Off. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
You're like the only person I've seen who plays it in a serious manner. That's the reason I was asking. I feel like it's underplayed, but I think you're right. Like it cuts off all those avenues for other decks. So okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Danny Freeman put it in his deck all the time. It's just you want to cover your bases, and it could be a win con too. You just never know.
It seems good. I'm gonna start playing some of my sideboard now too. Feels pretty decent. All right, what have we missed? We talked about M30. We've talked about sideboards. We talked about shops. What do you what next event are you going to?
The next event I'm going to is actually YetiCon, which is it next week, Colorado?
I don't know. Oh, you're going out to Colorado, dude? Oh man.
I'm going to Colorado. It is I think it's Jared Miller in the Discord. The Colorado guys are throwing an event. I think it's Lakewood, Colorado.
That's like outside of Boulder, right?
It's on the 19th. I'm flying into Denver like ass crack early.
Yes.
I'm flying out of Ontario, California. I think 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and I land in Denver at 8 a.m. and the tournament starts at 12. That's my plan.
You'll make it. Are you going to fly back same day?
No, I'm flying back the day after. So I'm going to meet the Fallen Angel guys. I'm going to meet Vexo and James out there. They're going to kind of shuttle me around a little bit because I'll be kind of tired, but I plan to come in, play in the tournament. They're going to have Dan Frazier there, which is kind of exciting.
Nice.
And, to see that caliber of an artist, outside of a convention is always a treat because, the artists tend to be less professional. They're more relaxed when they're.
Yeah, dude, they have better stories. They will talk shit at
like Market Chalice was just insane, right? Like it's crazy. Exactly. Brenda at M30 or Brenda and Anson at M30 was just insane because you just talk to them. They're just real people. So I'm excited to see Dan Frazier. So he's out there and just seeing a lot of the other guys. Like, I mean, I like to go to the other, I like to make it a point to go to the other old school groups meetups because that's what it's all about. I want to meet people. And I want to see what their metas are out there because every area is different. Right. So I want to see what they're playing out there.
Nice, dude. Yeah.
So I think it's next week, November 19th.
Yes, that is absolutely next week.
Yeah.
That'll be an easy flight though. That'll be fun. I think that's up near Boulder too. That's a good place to be. Like I know you guys will be inside a shop, but like it'll actually be like I used to live in Colorado, so it'll actually be like nice in Colorado at that time of year too. Just you can't wear what you wore to Chalice. You need to bring pants and a jacket.
I plan to, yes.
Okay, all right. Just making sure.
I appreciate
just
that.
Making sure you know.
Sweater too.
All right.
Might as well.
Yeah, please do. All right. All right. Are you gonna? I'm assuming you're gonna play. I'll cut this part if you want. Are you gonna play shops?
I actually don't know what I'm gonna play yet.
Fuck. Okay. All right. I was like, tell me what you're gonna play. But
I don't know what I'm gonna play yet. I mean, going back to the Arizona one, I played Charizard out there. I don't know. I don't know what to play because they're gonna play Atlantic. So I mean, I guess the obvious
Oh.
answer is to play shops, but I kind of like the greedy mana base in Atlantic. So I don't know. I might play like 4-color. I mean, I like the 4-color troll deck, right? Like the trolls and like troll disco, but it's like 4-color, so white, black, you know, the I guess the Atlantic version meta, you know, spiky troll deck with white removal and blue power and him the Turok and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm looking at that too.
If
But
you build that deck, will you send me the list? Because I just bought my last Badlands, so I can actually build that now if I really want to.
I'll send you. So the Vegas guys had an event, I think a year ago. I tried to play it in Force Strip. It was hard.
It's impossible, I think.
Simply because of the mana base.
Right.
I'll send you my list from then, and then
Perfect.
you know, I figure it's the same list. Just cut 3 strip mines, and then you're done.
Yeah, it's easy. Like, first off, somebody should tell. I've never met the Colorado guys. Somebody should tell them that they're farther from the Atlantic and closer to the West Coast, which means they need to be playing 4 strips. Like I don't know why they decided Atlantic. I don't know if you could be further away from the Atlantic without actually being on the Pacific. So somebody should talk to them about that while they're out there, but that's fine. I think a lot of people like playing Atlantic better, and it's all in good fun. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with it. And I mean, I used to just like 4 strip. That's it. But I get it. You know, it's nice to play the other formats.
I get it too. Whenever Cam strips out somebody in a game, he's like literally 4 stripped Paul De Silva like round 1 or round 2 of Chalice. Just like now, like I actually know I used to know the percentage, but that's like a less than 10% chance of actually doing that to somebody. But I get it.
Sure,
it's like in the low single digits.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
for sure.
That is it, my friend. Anything else?
No, I think we covered.
We can keep talking. I'm gonna stop hitting record. I'm gonna just turn the record off.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, just thanks for having me on. I mean, I it's been a while since I've been on, so it's just it's refreshing to just talk Magic. I'll talk about any Magic you want, at least old school Magic. So thank you for that.
Easy. Yeah. And when you get back from YetiCon, send me a message. I'm interested to see how that event went, because like I've never met I lived in Colorado for 5 years, but I never played old school out that way. So I'm just curious about who's doing it. So
you got it, man.
All right, dude. I'm gonna stop hitting record. Ciao.